Welcome to Blue Talks.
It's so nice to be back at Northwestern. It's been many, many years since I was a student here. So imagine for a moment you're in a television studio sitting behind the anchor desk. The bright lights are shining on you. Large cameras are moving all about, capturing different angles of you. All the while, the director's giving you rapid fire instructions through your earpiece. You can't think. You can't focus. Your ears are ringing. Your stomach is churning. You're gripped with anxiety because you know every imperfection, every stumble, every fumble is public. Now, what's fueling your anxiety isn't the fact you're on live television. It's that you're being bullied by your own colleagues off screen for your on-screen mistakes. Well, that was me some 35 years ago and my first TV anchor job. When I got that job after just 6 months in a reporting job in a smaller market, I thought my dreams had come true. I took it without really understanding what I was getting into. I showed up so excited to start to anchor the 6 and 10 newscasts. I dove right in, not understanding that I had walked into a newsroom that was resentful, angry I'd been hired, and just waiting for me to fail. And being brand new and 23 and not from the region, it didn't take long. After 2 weeks, I went into work one day and I opened my desk. I got there after everyone because I worked the night shift. And there it was, an anonymous note listing every mistake I had made the night before. And not just listing my mistakes, telling me to quit, to go away, that I was a failure. I looked around feeling shocked and ashamed and exposed. No one looked at me. No one said anything. I went and did the newscasts. The next day, another note. The next day, another note. Every single day, another note. Each day, I shrank more and more inside. I became more and more afraid. At first, I told myself, be perfect, but that shrunk me. I couldn't tell my parents. I didn't tell my boyfriend. I didn't tell any friends because what I'd worked so hard for, I had dreamed of this job since 6th grade. All of my education had aligned with it. I was failing in a matter of weeks. Somewhere in all of this, as I was getting physically sick, the ears ringing I described was real. The stomach issues were real. Somewhere I stumbled upon 3 life lessons that changed everything for me. They didn't come all at once. I didn't even know if they would work. But since that time, they've actually helped form me, not only guiding my career for the next 35 years, but me as a leader and really me as a person. I've found when I share these lessons, other people can take some insights from them. The first lesson was to look inside. The bullies were mean and they were cowardly, but I'll tell you, they weren't totally wrong. I was brand new. I was making mistakes. I was in a region of the country with names I had never run across before and a very distinct accent. I hired a speech coach. I learned how to say the names of the landmarks and the names of the towns. I started studying. I read everything I could about the region, the history, the culture. I took on a second job. Adam Grant, renowned organizational psychologist and best-selling author, says sometimes we get really harsh criticism. It's natural to get defensive. I wanted to just throw those notes away and say, who writes an anonymous note in a professional setting and's mean? I thought I'd outgrown all that in junior high. And while it was mean and cowardly, there was truth, and I had room to grow. Grant has a great quote that the way to prove yourself is to improve. So I worked. I slowly was getting better. Then I remember one night there were dangerous storms coming through the area. My co-anchor and I needed to be doing live broadcasts throughout the evening. Remember, this is 35 years ago. There are no apps and smartphones to help us. And all the work I had done started to pay off that night. I understood what was happening locally. I could pronounce everything correctly. It actually was the reason I'd gotten into journalism in the first place, what I'd dreamed of since sixth grade. I was giving important information to people that could potentially save their lives. Finally, the storms had passed. It was late at night. My co-anchor looked at me, and I'll tell you, he looked shocked. I had surprised him that night, and I got my first compliment. It may have been begrudging, but it was a good job. And more importantly, I felt that internally. I felt that improvement that I had so needed to make. I went from insecure to intentional about realigning with why I was even in the business, which was to give information to people. It was my way of thinking I could impact the world. That little win then prepared me for the second hard lesson. I needed to stand up for myself. I had been silent through all those notes, and by never saying anything, by hiding it, I had enveloped myself in a bubble of shame. So I took my time and I thought about my approach. I wanted to model how I wanted to be treated. So I went into work early one day. I set up in a private room, and one by one, I asked my colleagues to come in. I showed them the notes. I said, I've been receiving these, and I know I've made mistakes, but I need constructive feedback directly to my face. I met with more than 20 people. I still, to this day, all these years later, have no idea who wrote the notes. I didn't ask. No one volunteered. But in standing up for myself, I showed that I could go from feeling victimized and feeling small to realizing I could trust myself. I could take that power and turn that around. Guess what? The note stopped. I never again got another note. So I had managed to get better. I had stopped the bullying. And then the third lesson was I took a step back. When I got that job, I thought I might be there for years, that I'd become a fixture in the community. I needed to really assess the culture because I deserved to be in a place that nurtured growth, not stifled it. That phrase is something I've used for years to figure out for when giving career advice or even for myself. Does this place deserve my energy? Because we all deserve to grow. And as I looked around, the answer to that question was apparent. It was an insecure place, a newsroom running on fear, and competitiveness within versus trying to beat the other stations, or even more importantly, trying to serve the community. I knew I could find something better. So I started to look for another job. And although it took a while, eventually I got a job in a much larger market. I stayed there 9 years. I was promoted through the ranks. I met some of my best friends. I even met my husband. Now, it sounds a little bit like a fairy tale, and after what I had been through, it felt like that. But when I think of that year and that job, I am so deeply grateful for those lessons learned. I've never forgotten them. I use them as a compass. Anytime I'm in a difficult professional situation or the teams I am leading are, I say, look within first. Can I improve? What's in my circle of influence and what's not? What is noise and what is true? When I have truth, the growth follows very naturally. Second, self-advocate, stand up for yourself. But in doing so, model the way you want to be treated. Be respectful, be clear, set that boundary. And third, really look if this is the right culture. Is this the right work environment for you? Does it nurture growth or does it stifle growth? So, however hard these lessons were, I am grateful for them. They have made me a better leader and, quite honestly, a better person. I'll never claim to have it all figured out. I'm growing and learning every day. But when I think of the best leadership lesson, it really comes from going within and trusting yourself. Thank you.